Dirty hands claim money. Today I'm heading to Springfield, Ohio, home of, I always get their name wrong, Midwest Early Ford. It's a parts house and like body parts supplier for these old Ford vehicles, and I put in a pretty large order for the truck. And with what the shipping and truck freight and everything would be, it was going to be kind of outrageous, crating fee and all that. It's about 9.5 hour drive for me. Gives me a chance to get out, get away from the house. It's actually going to be cheaper for me to drive and pick them up than it's going to be to have them shipped out. If it was little stuff, not a big deal, but I'm getting a complete bed assembly, and that's one that's going to be pretty expensive to ship out. So you guys don't need to see a whole lot of driving if I see anything interesting on the way. Otherwise, next stop, Springfield, Ohio. So as a little side note I'm going to do on my road trip here, we recently switched vehicles. I was driving a 2010 Sienna. You guys have seen that on a previous show. We switched up to a 2014 Chrysler Town & Country. If anybody's interested, I'll get into that video on, or get into that vehicle, excuse me, in another video. But it was just time to update to something a little bit newer. Again, it's pretty new to us. This one does have a trip meter with a fuel mileage calculator. So a lot of times I like to test those and see how they do. The other thing that I'll do is I'll run the difference on a road trip with my mileage from standard fuel, 87 fuel, to the premium fuel. And a lot of times I've found that while the extra mileage per cost ends up being about the same, I do get a lot further on a tank, so there's less stops when I'm doing a longer road trip. So right now I filled up with just standard 87, and we'll see how many miles I get. We'll see how it compares to the trip calculator. Like right now it's telling me on 0 miles I've got 408 miles to go until I'm ready for fuel again. And then again, we'll see how the average mileage calculator is. Most of the time I find that the gauges are actually low, so if it reads I'm getting 22 miles a gallon, I'm getting closer to 23 to 24. But I have not tested this one yet. So by this, the next time I'll need to stop for fuel will be some point around Champaign, Illinois, which is kind of where I plan on stopping for the evening, depending on how I feel and all that. So let's see what I find out. All right, so my first stop is outside Byron, Illinois at a Love's gas station. I just signed up for their Love's Connect reward program. We'll see if that does anything. So according to my trip calculator, 214 miles even, and I put in 8.7 gallons, 31.83 for the fill up. By my math, that is 24.59 miles a gallon. And when I back up and go to fuel economy, 26.1. So I'm actually off a little bit there. And it was weird because I thought it said I had like 408 miles to start with, and when I got like 180 miles up the way, it only showed I'd use about 100 miles worth. So again, you know, it might take some time. That's showing me an average 26. I'm going to go ahead and reset that. Again, I'm using the 87 octane. On the way back, I'm going to step it up and use the premium fuel and see if anything changes here. But for now, I'm about 3 hours on my way of a 9-hour trip. So let's get some more miles down. All right, I left at about 6:30 in the evening. It's 1:30 in the morning. I just crossed into Indiana on I-74. I'm gonna stop and get a little bit of rest, set up my accommodations. I'm about 3 hours away from where I'm heading to in the morning. I'm gonna try and get going about 5-6 o'clock, get out there, and then I've got a stop on the way home I'm going to try for, see if get everybody's schedule to align. Excuse me, but been a long couple days, so it's starting to catch up with me. So good, safe area. I'm going to walk around, stretch for a minute, and pass out for a few hours. See everybody in the morning. All right, after passing out just a little bit longer than I intended to, I am up and back on the road. We're gonna run through Indy, and then I think says I got about 3 hours to go to get to Springfield. So next stop, Springfield, Ohio. And I made it. The building is actually very unassuming for what it is, but I'm gonna go in, chat with them. I got some paperwork to do. I've already talked to them. They sound like they're going to start pulling parts, so we'll see how long of a stop up this is going to be. But we'll see if my Tetra skills come into play, making sure I can get everything into the van. All right, so I got everything loaded. I even have a little bit of visibility behind me, but got most of the parts I need to really start getting this thing put back together. One part was on back order, and I got another part they're going to ship out to me. Really good guys. Again, if you're building one of these trucks or anything, you know, older Ford, and you're looking for some kind of weird, hard to find part, Midwest Early Ford in Springfield, Ohio. To me, seemed to be a good group of guys. Really unassuming building for everything they've got in here, but definitely helped me get my project rolling down the road. So I did get a chance to stop out at the shop called Leading Edge in Elkhart, Indiana on Old US 33. My buddy David, he's a Facebook friend. We haven't met officially, but we've had some conversations. He's got a really nice Super Bee if you take a look at his page. He wasn't in, but the owner, Roger, was in. He showed me around. Busy guy, so I didn't want to take up too much of his time. Probably throw a couple of pictures that I took up. You know, wasn't going to do like an interview, throw a phone in his face or nothing. But, you know, David, if you see this, if there's anything you want to comment in. But, yeah, Leading Edge in Elkhart, Indiana. If you need any work done, he works on old stuff, works on new stuff, works on boats. I didn't get a picture, but he's doing an old, like, Ford concession wagon. And he ended up doing all brand new wood, doing it himself. And actual stain quality wood. Looked beautiful. I didn't get a chance to get a picture of that one. But, yeah, it looks to be really amazing work. Busy guy, but give him a call if you're in that area and you need something done. Otherwise, I am on my way. It's calling about 6.5 hours for me to get home from here. I'm still kind of tracking my mileage. I'm doing a little bit better than I thought. I was actually up at 27 for a while there. Keep in mind, I'm running a different grade of fuel. I'm also running extra weight in the back with all the parts that I got. And then it's more highway than interstate. For a while I was rolling with the windows down and my arm hanging out, and that's all going to affect mileage as well. So not quite a nice old Chevy truck. Sorry, shiny squirrel. But yeah, we'll check the numbers when I get to my next fuel stop. All right, did a fill up just outside Michigan City, getting ready to jump on 94. This time I measured 23.5 versus 26.5 on the dash. So again, a little bit different driving style. Definitely weighed down a little bit more. The premium fuel is almost $5 a gallon here. I just couldn't pull the trigger on that, so I went back and I topped off with just standard 87 octane again. So when I get home, this should get me in the last fill up to get home. I'll do kind of a final, you know, overall measured fuel. I've been clearing up my trip gauge every time, so I won't have that. But based off of total trip and total fuel use, we'll see how well it does. But all in all, you know, 23, 24, 25, not bad for what it is and how I drive. So pretty pleased with that overall. Anyway, I'm gonna run inside and grab a couple of road snacks and then get back on, and hopefully if all goes well, next stop will be home. So this here is the notes that I made for everything I wanted to order. And here I've got the slip. So I'm going to go through, assuming I have something to write with. I may not, so I'm just going to have to try and keep a ledger here. All right, so start off with the radiator grille support, B 16138B. Yep, that's on the list. BAA 8259A. 8259A, yep. tail light kit. Yep, and on that tail light kit, it is an LED lighting kit. There is a note here that will mail the conduit, so those will be coming. That's the kind of aluminum channel the wiring runs through. Front end hardware, 1600 MBSS. We've got here 16637A. Yep. BAAA 16721. Yep, 721 the pair. I'm sorry, this probably isn't a whole lot of fun to watch. Lower valence, RLPN. RLPN right there. Let's see, the headlight panel kit, 8311S, 8310S. That one had another 8311, 8310, so one of those is on back order. They said it was going to be in stock, so I've got to see. They said right now they have no estimated time frame, so I wonder if they didn't charge me for that, it looks like. So I'm going to have to try and search another one of those, and I'll tell you what that is here in a moment. The running board plate, 16400, yep. The mount for that, 16400 MBS, yep, that is on there as well. BAA 17508 is the wiper motor, that is there. The mirrors, 17696 for 2 of them, yep, that's on the list. The data plates, 18650, yes, there are 2 of those. The complete bed kit, 830000SS, it's a stainless steel. The roll pan, 830110LR, yep, that is correct. The radiator they did not have. It's an old number and they're discontinued, so I'll have to source it somewhere else. The vent windows and the door glass got put on after. Let's see. Yep, clear door glass and the vents. And then I also ended up getting a pair of front fenders. I did get a rear fender. The driver's side fender that I have has a little cutout for a spare tire. He didn't want that, so I've got a standard fender. And then I ended up getting a door rebuild kit. So we'll see how that goes. So my list is complete for what I ordered versus what's on the list. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna double check everything. First, we'll just check that it's physically here, and then we'll go through and start making sure that everything is technically here, or is in good shape and all that. So the bed kit is gonna start with the bed sides. We've got them, and then this piece in the middle here is the header panel. We have the polished strips here. We have the wood kit here, this oak wood kit. We'll have to finish that, find out what kind of color he's wanting. And then we've got our cross beams and channels right here. There are stainless steel hinges, most of the hardware, rear fender to bolt kit. So it looks like all that stuff is here. The V8 grill mount. This one's the hood. This is fun to do with one hand, I apologize. All right, so this is the V8 grill mount, so I know it's in the package there. The tail light kit, here are the tail lights themselves. I'm assuming the wiring is going to be back behind because it's an awfully big box, but that is an LED light. The front end hardware is actually most likely going to be that kit right there. And that's all the stainless steel hardware to put the front clip together. The front emblem is this guy with the mounting pad. Let's see, the lower valence, that is going to be basically a front roll pan, is going to be that guy right there in the box. Headlight panel, that is this piece right here. So this bolts to the radiator support, and then the fenders bolt to the edge of this. So I do have the left-hand side, which would be the driver's side. The right-hand side was on back order, so I've got to do some checking around, see where I can find one of those. Headlight panels, the running board plates are in that box there, and there is going to be a mounting kit for those somewhere. I'll have to find them. The wiper motor is in this box here. That's a 12-volt wiper motor kit. The mirrors are in these two bigger white boxes. Those are a chrome set of mirrors. The data plates I did see. I don't remember where I set those. Those are right there. So those have to be stamped with the vehicle information. The one that I had was in really, really bad shape when I took it off. Again, we got the complete bed kit. Oh, that first one wasn't the bed kit. I'm sorry. The first one was radiator support, which is that right there. The vent windows and the door windows. Oh, the hood emblems. I might have ordered the wrong ones because I'm building a 53, but he was kind of wanting the 55, so I think I'm gonna have to get a different set of those. The hood emblems. Yeah, they were almost $100 for the pair of them, so I'm gonna have to order another set of those, unfortunately. But let's see what else we've got sitting here. Those are the plates. So at least on my list, it looks like everything is here. But I will start kind of pulling things apart, checking boxes. I am gonna have to get a hold of the guy, see what color bed he wants to do, if he's got some samples. I'm gonna be taking a look tomorrow. What is today? Today's Wednesday. So I'm gonna be going tomorrow to take a look at his seat, and I'm gonna have him come back down for a final fit. But I wanna try and get a few of these things put together before he comes down again, just so he's got some vision of progress. So next step is unboxing everything and kind of laying it out. A little bit different video, obviously most of it behind the wheel. That was a fun trip on the way back. It was early spring, so being able to drive with the window down was nice, just rocking up to the music and just a good kind of spiritual reset. I don't remember what I did with the pictures of the shop that I had visited. If I can find them, I might post them up on a later video. And that was a little bit of a time ago when, doing digital transfers between equipment. Sometimes stuff gets lost. Going through, you always want to make sure you double check your inventory. I checked the slip when we were loading the parts, and I just wanted to verify the receipt, for lack of better, with my order list to make sure that everything I had ordered came through, and it did. I ended up putting through another order with them later for some other smaller things. I don't remember if I have a video of that or not. But at this point, we start getting into the giant Lego kit. That's the body panels, and then getting back onto the body work. So we're going to wrap it up here, a little bit shorter video. Maybe not the most entertaining, but it's part of the build. So, sometimes getting stuff ordered and shipped, sometimes, if you're close enough to warehouse, driving and getting them. It saved me over $700 to go out there, even taking the 2 days to do it. The fuel that I did, by the time I figured out what the truck shipping was, what the crating fee was, all the other, miscellaneous fees with getting it out here, it saved me $700 to go get it myself. So that was a decision I had to make. And driving to me is no big deal. I drive all the time. 7 hours, 9 hours in a vehicle is nothing. I know not everybody can do that, but for me, it worked out better that way. Anyway, we're going to wrap up the episode here and see where we're into with the next one. As always, like, subscribe if you want to, leave a comment. Just remember, everybody be safe, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the next one.